Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm Kim from the Asian Institute of Technology, and here with me is Kitty from Chulalongkorn University. We are both honored to be the masters of ceremonies today. We would also want to say hello to our online participants. We're requesting you to please open your videos if it's convenient for us to see your faces. Thank you very much. This day, on the 22nd of March, marks the World Water Day, which is an annual UN observance that highlights the importance of fresh water and signifies the efforts in the promotion of sustainable management of our freshwater resources. Every year, there is a different theme which focuses on topics that are in line with the SDG 6 targets. And for this year, the topic is about groundwater making the invisible visible. The Stockholm Environment Institute, Sustainable Mekong Research Network, Chulalongkorn University, and Department of Groundwater Resources, along with the Asian Institute of Technology, jointly organized this celebration. Today's event consists of keynote speeches and messages from prominent individuals in the field of water and a launch of several initiatives. Before we formally start the event, we would like to announce a few reminders. First, this event is being recorded and will be uploaded in the Water Engineering and Management's official YouTube page. And it is now being streamed via Facebook Live. Second, we're requesting everyone other than the speakers to please mute your microphones. So without further ado, we would like to officially start this event with a welcoming remark from the Dean of the School of Engineering and Technology in AIT. I would like to invite Professor Dieter Chow, who is joining us via Zoom.
Yeah, thank you. His Excellency, Dr. Sandor Sipos, Ambassador of Hungary to Thailand. Dr. Eden Woon, President of the Asian Institute of Technology. Dr. Surin Borangking Hamrong, Deputy Director of the Department of Groundwater Resources, Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment of Thailand. Mr. Niall O'Connor, Director of the Stockholm Environment Institute, Asia Center. Dr. Priyatida Ruangsrame from Chulalongkorn University. Our keynote speaker, Dr. Neno Gurukik, and distinguished guests, AIT faculty and staff, students, and online participants. A very good afternoon and greetings from the AIT campus here in Thailand. And most important, happy World Water Day. Water, it's easy if you have it, but very hard if you don't. Therefore, we gather here today to jointly celebrate a very important occasion and to raise the awareness on the governance and management of freshwater resources and especially groundwater. I'm very excited to see the joint efforts of AIT, the Stockholm Environmental Institute, the Sustainable Mekong Research Network, Chulalongkorn University, and the Department of Groundwater Resources of the Royal Thai government to organize this important event together. Water is at the heart of AIT since its establishment in 1959. AIT is serving this region and beyond to build the capacity of human resources and to generate knowledge and apply it to water resource management. We have been collaborating with government agencies, development partners, academia, and research institutes to fulfill this mission. For AIT to fulfill its mission even better in the future, I'm very happy to announce the formation of a new center, the Center for Water and Climate Adaptation at AIT. And my special thanks goes to Professor Mukund Babel and Professor Sangam Shrestha, who worked very hard on the establishment of the center and who will serve as their founding directors. Celebrating the World Water Day is very important to raise the awareness on the importance of freshwater and especially groundwater resources. I appreciate all the collaborations we have established with the Stockholm Environment Institute, Sustainable Mekong Research Network, Chulalongkorn University, and the Royal Thai government. Let me welcome all the distinguished guests and participants who are physically present here today at AIT, as well as all the participants who are here with us online. I hope to hear new insights on groundwater management and looking forward to interesting discussions and conclusions at our event here today. Let's celebrate the World Water Day together, and once again, happy World Water Day. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean Chow. Now let's please welcome the AIT President, Dr. Eden Woon, for his opening remarks.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor for me to be here today to welcome you to World Water Day celebration here at AIT. The ambassador from Hungary will be here soon, but let me welcome him and Dr. Surin, Deputy Director General of the Department of Groundwater Resources, Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment, and Mr. Neil O'Connor, who is the Director of the Stockholm Environment Institute Asia Center, and Dr. Piatita from Chulalongkorn University, and also the keynote speaker, Dr. 𝐼𝐚𝐭𝐞𝐫 and also other distinguished guests, AIT faculty, AIT staff, and AIT students, and a big welcome to those who are viewing this particular proceeding online today. So thank you very much for coming and for tuning in, because this is quite an event that we're excited about here at AIT. Some of you don't know, or many of you may not know, that our very first major here, major study, was in water. So we have had many decades of experience in water research and water education. Secondly, today, we have 5 strategic focus areas for AIT. The first is smart communities. The second is infrastructure. The third is climate change. The fourth is technology, policy, and society. And the fifth is food, water, and energy. So once again, water figures into what we do here every day. Third is that the Times Higher Education has conducted an impact ranking on how universities do with respect to SDGs, the 17 SDGs, 17 UN SDGs. And AIT is an active participant, and we're happy to tell you that overall, we rank in the top 101 to 200 in the world in our work with respect to the SDGs. And in the SDGs related to water, we have done quite well. So you can see that the water is really a part of our DNA here. And so I'm honored today to officially open the World Water Day 2022, and it's a celebration event jointly organized by AIT, by the Stockholm Environment Institute, by the Sustainable Mekong Research Network, by Chulalongkorn University, and the Department of Groundwater Resources. This is a very important event to raise the awareness on the importance of fresh water and advocating for the sustainable environment of freshwater resources. Water is vital, but unfortunately it is too much taken for granted. But it is absolutely important for humanity and also to animals and in the environment. Although many efforts are ongoing for the sustainable management of water resources, many challenges still remain, and some are emerging because of climate change and climate variability. Urbanization and population growth all impact the water resources. This kind of celebration today is very important to highlight the challenges and opportunities to jointly tackle the water management problems globally, locally, and more important, to learn about valuing water. Groundwater, this year's theme, is becoming a more important source of water for sustainable development in the context of climate change, rapid urbanization, and other stresses. Groundwater is a hidden resource, and groundwater receives relatively less attention than surface water, despite the fact that 98% of the water on land areas is groundwater. Therefore, it is very important to raise the awareness of the importance of groundwater, and this kind of event is extremely useful. And I already highlighted the importance of water in AIT's more than 60 years of work. And on this occasion, I also want to highlight our partnership with the Stockholm Environment Institute, with a sustainable SUMERNET, Sustainable Mekong Research Network, Chulalongkorn University, and the Department of Groundwater Resources of Thailand. Several of our faculty members have been conducting projects awarded by SEI, by SUMERNET, especially on the theme, reducing water insecurities for all, in particular, the poor, marginalized, and socially vulnerable group of women and men in the Mekong region. And AIT historically has had a long relationship with Chulalongkorn University. We were actually hosted by Chulalongkorn University at their campus for several years in the beginning period of our university. And Chulalongkorn has also extended its kind support when we had an abundance of water, namely the big flood that we had here in Thailand. They were extremely helpful to us as our entire campus was flooded. And of course, AIT has been collaborating with Chulalongkorn University in jointly conducting international symposiums, research projects, students' activities, and publications. And we thank Chula for its support and its partnership all through the years. And also, I like to stress the necessity of collective efforts to understand and solve the water resources management challenges. Therefore, I would like to appeal to multi-party collaboration among the World Water Day 2022 event organizing institutes. No one can do it alone. This is a global problem, and this is a collaborative task. Lastly, I would like to acknowledge the World Water Day messages from our esteemed partners and eminent personalities in the water sector. Now, I officially open the World Water Day 2022 celebration, and I'm excited to hear the keynote speakers and the launching of several initiatives and products of the Stockholm Environment Institute, Sustainable Mekong Research Network, Chulalongkorn University, and of course, several initiatives which are started, and we'll tell you more, started by AIT ourselves. So thank you very much, and I wish the conference a great success. Thank you.
Thank you, President Eden Woon. Now we have a message from the Deputy Director General in the Department of Groundwater Resources, Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment, Thailand, Dr. Surin Worakit-Tamrong. Please welcome Dr. Surin.
Dr. Eden Woon, AIT President, Professor Dieter Traub, Dean of the School of Engineering and Environment and Technology, Mr. Niall O'Connor, Director of Stockholm Environment Institute, Asia Center, our keynote speakers, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, Happy World Water Day. On behalf of the Director General of Department of Groundwater Resources, it is an honor for me to deliver the opening remarks today. First of all, I would like to express my appreciation to the Asian Institute of Technology for providing me the opportunity to be part of the important event. Every 22nd of March, a special effect of fresh water is highlighted globally, and this year's theme is groundwater, making the invisible visible. It aims to raise our awareness of groundwater value towards humanity, environment, and biodiversity. Groundwater is itself invisible, but its impact is often visible. It is a hidden but the precious resources that support our lives. According to the International Groundwater Resources Assessment Center, groundwater provides almost half of our drinking water worldwide, about 40% of water for agriculture, and about 30% of water for industrial processes. Groundwater is an also important factor for climate change, adaptation, and a solution for the people without access to surface water. However, it is still out of sight and out of mind for most people. Nowadays, climate change, surface water scarcity, water quality issues, and increasing population have posed an urgent need for alternative water supplies. Thus, groundwater become a perfect source to fulfill those needs. In Thailand, the Department of Groundwater Resources is the main governmental agency responsible for overseeing the development and management of groundwater resources. Our mission includes groundwater exploration, development, restoration policies, and legislation to ensure national water security and sustainability for future generations. Several efforts and initiatives have been set up to help improve people, quality of life, economic growth, and sustaining of groundwater resources. Later on, I will share you with you some initiative approach that Department of Groundwater Resources employ to promote sustainable groundwater management in Thailand. From my experience, studying and working with groundwater for over 20 years, I've seen the trend of sustainable groundwater management and rising groundwater awareness in Thailand and around the world. Groundwater has gained more attention over the last decades, and it become more critical to mitigate the impacts of the climate change, not only for sustaining the socio-economic growth, but also the ecosystem. Public participation, understanding groundwater values and how to manage it in the sustainable ways are key to making groundwater visible to everyone. I am happy that this year's celebration is focusing on groundwater and giving us the floor to share our practice and experience on sustainable groundwater management. It is an honor to the Department of Groundwater Resources to join this endeavor today. Let's celebrate the World Water Day together. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Surin. We also have here with us the Director of Stockholm Environment Institute Asia Center to deliver his opening remarks. Please welcome Mr. Niall O'Connor.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. So we start with Dr. Eden Wood. Pleasure to be back here again at AIT. Dr. Surin, very nice to meet you indeed today from the Department of Groundwater Resources. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and particular Ambassador, His Excellency when he arrives. Greetings. It's a pleasure to be here today, and I think it's the first time I've been out in another premises since COVID, so it's lovely to see some faces for a change. So really nice to be back out again, and I hope we can continue in this format. And really important event to do so as well for World Water Day. We know that approximately 2.2 billion people are presently living without access to safe water. That's just unacceptable. And the United Nations World Water Day, held as we know annually on the 22nd of March aims to raise awareness of this important fact. And we are trying to see how we can take immediate actions to solve this crisis. The World Water Day is also linked to the Sustainable Development Goals number 6, as we talked about, the water and sanitation for all by 2030. So we have quite a challenge ahead of us. And this year's focus on World Water Day is, as has been mentioned, groundwater. It's used by us all every day, and yet, as everybody says, it remains invisible. And in many ways, out of sight, out of mind. We don't think about it until there's a problem, whether it becomes scarce or whether it becomes polluted and causes issues. So groundwater is critical, not only for our drinking, for sanitation, for farming, but also for all the industries. It's also critical for the ecosystems upon all of us which we rely upon, whether it's with rivers, lakes, freshwater, forests, or farmlands, and the ecosystem services they provide to us. Without groundwater, we will damage that. With climate change, the need to protect and conserve the groundwater becomes even more urgent. We're not sure what's going to happen next, but it's not looking great. The importance of groundwater for food security will intensify as climate change hits us worse. More frequent and intense climate extremes increases vulnerability to precipitation, and soil moisture is going to change, and this is going to change crop productivity. So we're going to see a lot of problems with that. It's also going to affect the recharge rates of the aquifers that we know about, and how quickly they can reabsorb and provide us resources into the future. So across Asia, groundwater accounts for over 25% of the total usage for water in irrigation, food production and industry, as well as domestic use. And in many cases, wells, which around the Mekong Delta region, there's over 1 million wells that have been dug to provide water for people. How are we going to manage and sustain this resource and keep the quality of the water up? But groundwater is not only critical for domestic use. We see in the mountains of Laos and in Vietnam's central highlands, the coffee cultivation would collapse without water that's been pumped from these fresh aquifers. So industry is critically reminded that we need to sustain this also. Across the Mekong region, there's also evidence that groundwater is already being heavily overexploited. In areas in Cambodia's Tonle Sap region, the Sak and Mekong rivers, these aquifer rates, recharge rates, they're much slower than we had anticipated, and the extraction is much higher than we intend. So this is leading to fears that these aquifers will dry out in the near future. In Bangkok, and this has been a problem here for many decades, evidence shows also that as aquifers dry out, the city is subsiding at anywhere up to 2 centimeters a year. Not just Bangkok, but many other cities in the region. And the fear is that, even in Bangkok, within 15 years, we could be underwater on a regular basis because we are destroying our groundwater resources. So for SEI, these are all critical issues. And we are continually trying to demonstrate evidence-based research and policy recommendations to work with the key partners, all of which are on top here today, as we strive to achieve our SDG 6. Our global strategy for work focuses on 3 key areas, which include reduced climate impacts, sustainable resource use and resilient ecosystems, and looking at improved health and well-being. So we've got to protect the ecosystems and the services and the people that benefit from it. We've been conducting research on sustainability of groundwater use and effective groundwater for managing this resource, where a team led by Dr. Tanapon here and many others at the office focus on sustainable water resource management, water security, floods and droughts, and improved water quality, and particularly building more resilient ecosystems to protect those resources. And monitoring this water is going to be key. And with that, SEI is also developing water monitoring systems that address key institutional gaps in drought monitoring across Thailand and indeed Southeast Asia. And as we had mentioned earlier, we talked about SUMERNET, which is the Sustainable Mekong Research Network. It's one of our flagship projects, and it's focusing directly on reducing water insecurity for all and looking at groundwater as one of those key research areas under what we term the Groundwater Integrated Regional Assessment Program. And under this, we're looking at 3 key projects, one of which is looking at the assessment of groundwater sustainability in special economic zones of Thailand. A second is looking at strengthening groundwater governance in 4 rapidly urbanizing areas in the lower Mekong region. And both of these are led here by Professor Shrista at AIT, a very clear partner of ours. And we heard how Chulalongkorn was good to AIT in the past. Well, we were hosted by AIT many, many years ago, and now we're hosted by Chulalongkorn. So you can see we're all working closely together, which is very nice. A third project that we work on is identifying barriers to sustainable and inclusive groundwater for marginalized rural communities in the Mekong region. And this is in both Cambodia and the Lao PDR and is led by Dr. Paul Pavlich from 𝐸𝐵. So SEI, we are trying to build partnerships with the relevant government agencies, the academic institutions, NGOs, to try and improve scientific evidence for solutions to sustainable groundwater management. We urgently need to understand the nature and behavior of these groundwater systems, and this will allow us to adapt and adopt policies that can help regulate the extraction of water and the sustainability of ecosystems. We cannot simply continue exploiting groundwater as before. We need to maintain clear and evidence-based sustainable water resource management. So, however, while we do this, we're looking after quantity of water. We also have to reflect on the quality of water so that we can maintain the demands of millions of users and at the same time the needs for ecosystem services. And as climate change worsens, groundwater will become an even more precious resource that we cannot afford to waste. If we want to ensure genuine sustainability and equitable development, we need groundwater management. So let's keep that in mind as we move through today. I want to wish you all a great success with the event and thank you for hosting it here at AIT. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. O'Connor. Our first keynote speech is about the sustainable management of groundwater resources in Thailand. And this will again be delivered by Dr. Surin Purakittamrong. Please welcome again Dr. Surin.
Thank you. I'm happy that I ran in time to AIT today. Actually, I just ran back from Kanchanaburi. This is because on the 3rd of April, our King Rama X gonna open our biggest project of groundwater in Thailand. It is about 10 rides. Yeah, and this is about, the stock tank is about 4,600 cubic meter. And I think it is actually, I think it is the biggest one in Asia at the moment. So we are really proud of this one, and we are happy to let our guests, AIT participants, to join us. Okay. When we talk about groundwater, we talk about sustainable. This morning, I heard our Prime Minister also talk about sustainable. They said that sometimes when the aquifer is deteriorated or we have the seawater intrusion or a lot of things, and so we can make the aquifer deteriorate and something make the quality worse and worse. This is also what I'm thinking as well. So what I'm going to talk today, I'm going to talk about sustainable groundwater management. I'm going to talk about 3 stories and try to recap in 20 minutes. The first story is about making the groundwater is invisible. So sometimes when you see on the map, this is the map of the 𝐵𝐸𝐶 province, about 80 kilometers of Thailand. If you see this map, you can see the river. This is called Bang Pakong River. That is very big. That is connected to the Gulf of Thailand. When a lot of people see this figure, they will see that when the policymakers see this one, they will see, oh, you have a lot of water, so you don't need to fight groundwater. When we go to this site, the local authority invite us and with our Director General to the site. When we get down the car, there are a lot of people gather around us. And the first thing that our Director General asked is that you have a lot of water. You don't need to ask us to find the water. But what they say that you can see a lot of water, but actually when you take a bath with that water, you feel itching. You feel itching. Some people ask that why is itching? It is the reason is if you are in this province, 𝐵𝐸𝐶 before, about 40 years ago, you can run, you can swim, you can drink directly from the river. But after 40 years, you cannot drink because at the moment, about 20 years ago, there are the fish farm, more than 100,000 farm ponds in 𝐵𝐸𝐶 province. So when they finish the crop of the fish farm, or the prawn farm, they just put the sewage water into the canal. And then in this area, they found the other reason to be worse of the bad water quality is they have the seawater intrusion as well. So when the water try to get out, they cannot get out because the seawater intrusion try to push it back. So that is why the water quality is worse. That is why the people is suffer and ask for groundwater. Actually, the people try to find the groundwater about 100 meters, but 100 meters is not enough because the seawater intrusion also come to 100-meter zone. So what happened is we have to drill the biggest borehole in this area for 6 production wells. And the 6 production wells, next slide. We have the 6 production wells, that is the biggest about 8 inch, 300 meters each. And we do, in this size, we just finished our project about 2 months ago. So it can serve the people, about 10,000 people around this area. And this is one of the 15 sites that is our King Rama 10 accept to be royal initiative. So this is the size number 6. And what I've talked earlier is about site number 1. So what I'm trying to tell is something that you see that is visible. Maybe you cannot touch it. Maybe you cannot use it. That is why you need to find groundwater that is invisible. So the question is how to make the groundwater invisible to be visible. I will tell the second story about the water allocation in Thailand. The water demand in Thailand is about 150,000 million cubic meter per year. So the supply side is about 120,000 cubic meter per year. So it means that it still needs 30,000 million cubic meter per year for the residue that you need to develop more. So how about 120,000 is come from the reservoir 80,000, come from the groundwater from 15,000, come from other sources from local authority about 25,000. So it means that the question is how can we meet another 3,000 million cubic meter? You may have 2 options. The first option is to build only reservoir, the big reservoir. The second largest reservoir in Thailand is the Scarcity Dam, that is 10,000 million cubic meter. The question is, can you build that reservoir in 30 years now? The answer is no, because there are a lot of protests, because when the land you want to do the reservoir, you get the people protest because they think that they will make the ecology worse. They may change our quality of life. So that is why the big dam project never happened in Thailand about 20 years already. So what about the option 2, that is combination? You find some medium reservoir, you use groundwater, and you use the combination of other sources. Some people also think that whether or not you can use groundwater, is it clean enough? Is that big enough? That is come with this figure that Dr. Eden Woon already said, that is 98% of the water inland is groundwater. So so I will skip this one. So everyone know already. So let's talk about the Thailand hydrologic cycle. If you say that the rainfall each year of Thailand is about 1,600 millimeter per year, that is convert to be the water is about 800,000 million cubic meter per year. About 60% is evaporation and evapotranspiration. 40% is go into the inland, 25% and 15% is to groundwater. So the question is how much groundwater we can use safe in the safe view. Let's go to the next slide. So the water this percolation each year is about 100,000 million cubic meter. So we said about 45% is a safe view. So we use 45,000 in this department now. So at the moment we consume groundwater is about 15,000 million cubic meter. It means that it still have more than 3,000 million cubic meter groundwater available. That is what we do at the moment. So the question is, how can we use that groundwater to help people? When the people think about groundwater, they also think about this picture. This picture that the beautiful children, beautiful child try to use the duck well, try to pump the water by hand, and the water go, you have the small truck, and then you get the water in the bucket. That is what they think about groundwater. So when I go to talk with a lot of people, the people always think groundwater is just small amount. Groundwater is not in good quality. So let me talk to you next about what they use groundwater in Thailand. If you see this house, you may think it is a big building. Actually, this house is located in AITCC province, and it is the house of the mineral and the Nestle water. They use our groundwater for 4 boreholes. And this is our Director General. They come inside. So you can on the right hand side, this is the borehole. And the borehole is made of stainless steel. So what does it mean? It means that the groundwater is precious for the Nestle company. That is why they drill and use the stainless steel to be their product of the production well. And it makes a lot of millions of this size. So they already expand their product. So almost 99% of the water bottle in the convenience store or supermarket is groundwater. Let's talk about another figure. This is the 𝐸𝐵𝐿𝐼. This is the company that doing the paper. It belongs to SCG company. Also this one. So you can see on the top one is the pumping well. This is about 125 horsepower. They can pump about 300 cubic meter per hour. And this pump is for groundwater. They do the technology called the RBF or riverbank filtration. They have around 16 boreholes in that size. There is one question because this is the borehole is just 100 meters near the Mekong River. So the people always think, why they don't pump the water from Mekong River? Why they need to pump from the groundwater 100 meters away? That is because it is the RBF. That is because when you pump the water just go to the aquifers and it makes the water much more better quality. That is why the 𝐸𝐵𝐿𝐼 they just change to do the RBF, and they do it about 30 years already. Okay, go next slide. So the challenge is now is how to develop groundwater and sustainability together. When you say develop, you also say in one side, you also have sustainability in another side. So the question is how to make sustainability in practice. It is the Kanchanaburi province that I just been there for this morning. You can see here in this figure, it is the southwest monsoon go through, but the water cannot go through because it is a rain shadow area. So in this area, the water in Thailand, the rainfall is about 1,600 millimeters per year. So in this side, it's just only 1,000 millimeters per year. So it made the people suffer. They need to pay a lot of money, more than 5 million a year for buying water. So that is why we come to help. This is our science that I just talked to you in the first beginning. This is combination of the 8 boreholes, and the stock tank in each one is the 2000, and they have the 300 meter of the storage tank that is can convey the water about 10 kilometers. This is what we design. So we use a pumping test. We pumping for 3 days, in total 8 wells together, and the water just only about 5 meters below groundwater level. That is the drawdown. So it means that the amount of water in this site is enormous. So we can make sure that if we pump in this amount, we can sustain and use groundwater forever in this one. Skip that. Let's go next slide. Do you have video for this one? This is the site now. This is a 40 meter of the tank, and about 30 meter is no water. So it means that you can sustain the head of the just only on the top. This one, actually this one is taking the video about 3 months already, but now everything changed to be much better now. Okay. And the good news is the water quality from this one, when you pump out, you can drink it. It means that the people in this area, they cry when they get this project, because they suffer for about 40 or 50 years ago that they don't have the clean access water. So now they can have mineral water in their home. So it means that their cow and everything that they have, the cow eat the mineral water. They drink better than us. So a lot of people they come to get the free drinking water, and they can save a lot of money. So the ROI is about 4 years. And when we talk and we develop and expand, we develop the size of that one, and the province, they come and help. So they're gonna expand the pipeline to expand from one sub-district to be the whole district. This is our plan. This is another development of our big groundwater project in Thailand. Is about groundwater for agriculture. So you can see on the right-hand side, you play the video, and you can fill the 1,000 liters within only 30 seconds. This is the amount of groundwater. This is how we build the new model for the agriculture, for the big project for the agriculture in Thailand by using groundwater. Okay, skip that. Okay. So what I'm talking already is about development science. What about the sustainability science? Because you cannot necessarily use, you have to make sure the resources is sustainable. So what we do a lot of things. We do what we call GGR SCADA. That is what we use to help to monitor the big project, to see that how much the water is coming out from the pumping well, how much is stored in the tank, how much the water going to the pipeline, to the main pipeline, to the people. It is what we monitor with the local authority for this one. Skip. Come back. So DGR SCADA now is already developed for 2 project sites, and it is a web-based, and also they can, when we write the program, so when they have the monitor, so when you have the suspicious that the enormous change of water quality or water quantity, they will warning you online on the live application on this one. This is a site in China. This is the RBF site, the first one in Thailand. In this one that we built it last year. So we use the same pump. We use the pump that I showed you earlier in the Siam craft. This is the pump. This is about 125 horsepower, and it can pump more than 300 cubic meter per hour. So another way to make the sustainable in Thailand is to make the people can live by themselves. We teach people how to catch the fish, not to give the fish to the people. That is why we get and serious about collaboration and the partnership. So this is in Thailand we call แม่จำปานะครับแม่จำปา Actually she get the cancer. แม่จำปา get the cancer about 20 years ago. She want to try to do the organic farm, but she cannot find it. Finally, when she got groundwater, she can do the organic farm. So finally, she can do the farm that is organic by using groundwater and send it to the top supermarket, and they increase the quality of life. So she earned the money about 50,000 baht per year and change to be 500,000 baht per year, or 10 times, much more. And now she building the seed for the organic seed as well for the people and buy online. So when the people like Mae Champa, she can live by herself. When the system of groundwater system they damage, she never ring me. She just ring the one to fix it up, because she know that the groundwater is precious. Groundwater is important, so she want to make it. She want to fix it, so she can earn the money and she can live by herself. That is the model that should be in Thailand. And also we have the connection with other agencies like the Bank of Agriculture to help loan for the small loan for the farmer as well. Okay, skip that. So finally, for the groundwater management, we have the groundwater manual that we are developing now. We have the groundwater manual for domestic purpose, and we have groundwater manual for agriculture. That is come with the summary. If you want to sustainable, where you have the 3 pillars, you have the development in one side, but you also need to have the monitor in another side, and you have collaboration. If you have 3 pillars, I'm sure that you can have the sustainable groundwater development. Thank you.
Thank you again, Dr. Surin. The second keynote speech is about the groundwater, making the invisible visible. Please allow me to introduce to you Dr. Neno Kukurik. He is the former director of International Groundwater Resources Assessment Center and the co-coordinator at UN Water Task. In fact, he is the one who provided this year's World Water Day theme. Unfortunately, he is now organizing the 9th World Water Forum in Dakar, Senegal, Africa, and won't be present here with us, but he prepared a video message for us to hear. Please welcome Dr. Neno.
Hello to everyone. I was asked to say something about groundwater, about invisible character of groundwater today at this special day, World Water Day, where we celebrate groundwater all over the world. Just to say that I'm coming from IGAC, which is International Groundwater Center and affiliated to United Nations. Now, imagine that there is no rain. It's not raining ever. Imagine that there are no rivers and lakes, but also that there are no seas and oceans. It will be quite difficult to imagine for everyone. Now imagine that there is no groundwater. Now, groundwater, for most people, would be difficult to imagine groundwater, and certainly not so difficult to imagine life without groundwater. Half of population drinks groundwater every day, and 1/3 of all water which we use to produce food is coming from groundwater. There will be no permanent rivers without groundwater. Groundwater is essential for adapting to climate change, etc., etc. So, but still, despite these impressive figures, groundwater, due to its invisible character, is out of sight and out of mind for most people. And most people face water scarcity, which is intensifying all the time. And surface water resources are becoming more scarce, and then reliance and pressure on groundwater is increasing. Again, despite of these facts, we don't know sufficient about groundwater resources globally, and we don't manage our aquifers well enough. Well, what should we do about it? It's quite simple. We need to improve the management and governance of groundwater resources in order to achieve Sustainable Development Goals of United Nations. In order to do that, we need to step up monitoring and to improve assessment to inform management and governance. Next to that, due to invisible character of groundwater, we also need to increase awareness, to lobby more for groundwater, to make new synergies and partnerships, to increase information and knowledge sharing. So if you look at the global groundwater assessment, we know more or less where the aquifers are. There are matrices and parameters. And we will see that most of the countries share aquifers. So the changes in aquifers and quality and quantity can lead to international problems, but also often they are a platform for cooperation. And this cooperation is needed to mitigate or eliminate problems and increase overall benefit from groundwater. This process asks for a lot of harmonization because there are differences in languages, classifications, policy, etc., etc. But a lot has been done in the last 20 years in the framework of UNESCO-led 𝐸𝐶 program and many other affiliated activities. Just to say that transboundary aquifers are extremely important for global water security. Among the large aquifers under stress, most of them are transboundary. Transboundary assessment started about 20 years ago, and also in Asia. This was work of UNESCO office in China. And more information on transboundary aquifers and the state of transboundary aquifers you will find in this global outline available on 𝐸𝐴𝐶. You will see that nowadays we have a global baseline available on transboundary aquifers. We have interdisciplinary methodology developed, a legal framework, and a publicly accessible information system. This is just a snapshot of information system. And there is a map of transboundary aquifers, and this is update 2021, prepared for 𝐸𝐶 conference in December last year. And you will also find it available online. You can also get a copy, hard copy if you like. But this was assessment of quantity. There is also very important assessment of the quality. And we know much less about that. This is a recent report of the World Bank where they're saying, I think it was for India, that there were actually too little data even to make a good measurement. There are some very good global activities and initiatives regarding groundwater quality, and certainly this one related to World Water Quality Assessment led by UNEP, and you will see a lot of useful information on the portal of this international group. So what is the state of groundwater resources at the moment? Difficult to say. This is just one of the ways to present the situation using only groundwater quantity. But the fact is that we need more information, especially on changes of the state of groundwater resources. Therefore, we need monitoring. Because of changes due to environmental processes or human impact, there are changes in quality and quantity, and we can't manage what we don't see or measure. There's no sufficient information about state of or trends of groundwater resources globally, and we should use a proxy information, but not rely too much on them. Importance of monitoring was one of the reasons to start a global groundwater monitoring network program about 10 years ago to improve quality and accessibility of groundwater monitoring information. So what has been done is actually setting up people networks, regional people networks, and composed of the national hydrogeologists, and then supporting those networks with a portal where they can put their data, process, and share. This is just a photo from a regional groundwater monitoring workshop for Southeast Asia several years ago, and it was a very successful and pleasant event. The other example was from last year, actually, quite recent, from Mongolia, where we did organized a workshop together with our colleagues there from UNESCO, online because of COVID, but still everyone was very enthusiastic. Last year, we produced together with the national services an overview of groundwater monitoring programs globally, and it's especially regarding processing of monitoring data, because we need to collect data, but also to process and to see how we can use them. So have a look at this. It is quite inspiring, and maybe you can use it in your country. This is about monitoring. Just to mention briefly groundwater management and governance, where we have nowadays a lot of new technical solutions, and you should really look on their applicability in your situation. We need to think out of the box. We need to use new approaches, new tools like serious gaming or solar pumping, etc. And also to use every opportunity to make a case for invisible groundwater. And that is actually a reason, the main reason for this initiative, Year of Groundwater, Making Invisible Visible, where World Water Development Report is dedicated to groundwater. World Water Day is celebrated all over the place, and at the end of the year we will have also World Toilet Day, and at the end of the year we will have a Groundwater Summit, first in history. Make groundwater more visible. Use material which is prepared by a task force of UN Water. One of the tools we are also developing is so-called Groundwater Catalog, where we would like to increase availability of information on tools, measures, and instruments which are needed by groundwater managers and policymakers when dealing with groundwater-related problems. So finally, just a few remarks. Keep fostering international cooperation, because climate change and human impact on groundwater do not stop at any border. We need to embed better groundwater in societal environmental problems. That should be a starting point, and then to see what is the role of groundwater there and how we can tackle those issues. And finally, as the pressure on groundwater increases, international cooperation and knowledge sharing are really crucial for tackling serious pollution and depletion problems. Well, someone said that the things which are essential we can only see with our heart, and that's very much true, and groundwater is one of those things. At the same time, we really need to continue our effort to make groundwater as visible as. So making visible, definitely. Thank you for your attention.
We are now have some prominent people in the water sector to deliver their messages to our audience and the global community. Due to some other important matters coinciding with this event, some of our invited guests cannot physically attend here with us, but they have prepared some video messages which will be played accordingly. Our first speaker is the Deputy Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment in Thailand, Dr. Oranut Lawpensi. She prepared an audio message for us to hear.
AIT President, Dean of the School of Engineering and Technology, Director of Stockholm Environment Institute, and distinguished participants. On behalf of Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment, the Kingdom of Thailand, it is my great honor to deliver the message on the occasion of the World Water Day 2022 celebration. Every year, we celebrate the World Water Day to recognize the essential role of water in supporting life on Earth. We need water in every aspect of our life, including household consumption, agriculture, industry, as well as in maintaining ecosystem services. Recently, many countries, including Thailand, have been facing with a water crisis due to increasing population and rapid social and economic development. This crisis has been intensified by the impact of climate change, resulting in more unpredictable and severe water problems, such as drought and flood. Global climate change has aggravated water stress and suffered those vulnerable in limited surface water source. Thus, groundwater become a possible solution for water access and sustaining socio-economic growth. The Royal Thai government places great importance to sustainable water management and to tackle the flood and drought crisis. The Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment is a key agency to explore and conserve the groundwater. Our mission aims to supply the water for people, consumption, agriculture, and industrials. We have developed the surface water, groundwater conjunctive use scheme in agriculture areas located in highland, non-irrigated area, as well as remote area, especially in the drought-prone area across the nationwide. In order to reduce the poverty and escalate proper well-being, at the same time, we promote Thailand New Economy Model BCG, Bio-Circular Green Economy, which conform with the Sustainable Development Goals. Sustainable groundwater management will help support this strategy, especially in food and agriculture industry. This year, the theme of World Water Day is Groundwater Making the Invisible Visible. As we realize that groundwater becomes a vital source for human well-being, as surface water supply cannot meet the demand for water use all around the world. Groundwater also sustains ecosystem, maintaining the base flow of the river. This reiterates the fact that groundwater will become more and more important. Even though groundwater is abundant, we have to use it wisely and prevent possible contamination. Unsustainable use of groundwater can have a severe and long-lasting impact on our environment, ecosystem, and our life. Therefore, raising the awareness of groundwater and the collaboration among different governmental and non-governmental institutions are crucial. Today's event will shed light on how important groundwater is, introduce the initiative to manage groundwater sustainably, and strengthen our collaboration. On the occasion of the World Water Day this year, the Ministry of the Natural Resources and Environment would like to invite everyone to conserve and use groundwater resource wisely, so there will be enough clean water for the next generation. Thank you.
We also have video messages from the Director of Hydroinformatics Institute, Ministry of Higher Education, Science, Research and Innovation, Thailand, Dr. Suthat Wisakul.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Suthat Wisakul, Director of Hydroinformatics Institute, or HII. It's my privilege to be here today at this memorable event of World Water Day 2022. At present, the evidence for climate crisis is clear. The changing of weather patterns leads to major institutional challenges for water management, especially in the developing countries, which generally have limited administrative capacity and resources. In Thailand, we have experienced extreme climate from global climate change more frequently. When we look back more than 40 years on the annual rainfall data from National Hydroinformatics Data Center (NSC) that HII hosts, it shows, first, more than half is wet and dry year. Second, magnitude of extreme flood increased from 12 to 22% of annual average rainfall. Third, more frequency of flood is also shown from 9 to 6 years per event. And the last one is, similarly severe drought occur once for every 7 years, change to every 5 years. And adaptation to climate change is necessarily needed, and it required good water management as an important strategic way to prevent losses from either flood or drought. Groundwater, for example, is also one of the areas which can be an effective tool to this climate challenge. According to United Nations, the groundwater resources are under increasing pressure due to human activities and climate change. HII, as a research institute, realized the need for urgent response to and has jointly worked to design and develop our unique aquifer recharge system. With this method, we can increase the level of the groundwater up to the plant's root so that it can directly absorb water, which resulted in increasing productivity and withstanding in dry season. The productivity increased approximately 50%, either in terms of weight or quantity. The local people can increase their productivity and income, even though they are facing climate challenges. It is the concept to try to restore water circle pattern. Therefore, enhancing climate resilience is of utmost importance. It's time for our science community, technology, and informatics can be our important tools to tackle the current climate situation. And we must do everything we can before it is too late. Thank you.
Our next video messages is from the Head of Development Cooperation Section in Regional Asia and the Pacific, Embassy of Sweden in Thailand, Ms. Anna Maria Ortop.
Dear President of AIT, Excellencies, distinguished participants and guests, it is my pleasure to offer a message of solidarity on behalf of Sweden at this World Water Day. Healthy and well-functioning ecosystems, including rivers, lakes, wetlands, and aquifers, are vital to the life on our planet. Too often, however, the management of freshwater ecosystems has prioritized a narrow range of services for short-term economic benefit and simultaneously allowed the costs of these choices to be borne by poorer, more vulnerable, and excluded communities. We can find examples of this trend from north to south and across the globe. Here in mainland Southeast Asia, a glaring example is the ongoing unsustainable exploitation of the Mekong River basin. Many of you will remember a widely discussed article in the late 2020s that proclaimed, "The Mekong River is dying. Everyone knows it." The same conclusions was echoed again at last week's EU-Mekong Cooperation Conference, hosted by the Diplomatic Academy of Vietnam. There, experts from Southeast Asia reminded us that despite a recent proliferation of regional and bilateral initiatives, the health of the Mekong River and its watershed continues to deteriorate as a result of geopolitical tensions, poor governance, lack of informed decision-making and impact assessment, and weak coordination at all levels. We see the local and national governments, regional organizations, civil society, universities, private enterprise, and the media all have important roles to play for achieving an environmentally sustainable, rights-based, and gender equal management and use of water resources. From our embassy in Bangkok, we manage Sweden's regional development and research cooperation. This includes partnerships with organizations like the Mekong River Commission, the Sustainable Mekong Research Network SUMERNET, the Earth Journalism Network, the Environmental Economics Program of Southeast Asia, �𝐨𝐫𝐥𝐝, Stockholm Environment Institute, the Asian Indigenous Peoples Pact, Forum Asia, and many more. Through these partnerships, we intend to facilitate greater understanding, collaboration, and coordination amongst stakeholders and between duty bearers and right bearers. My colleagues and I are very pleased to have received a new government strategy in December that allows us to continue and expand our regional engagement with partners to address transboundary natural resource management. Thanks to this new strategy, Sweden can continue to be your partner during the next 5 years as you strive to find solutions to today's water insecurities, in particular as they relate to poor and marginalized groups. More broadly, Sweden will continue to be your partner as you work towards achieving your visions for sustainable ecosystems, climate adaptation, climate smart energy, while respecting human rights, gender equality, and strengthened democratic institutions and the rule of law. Thank you for the opportunity to share these thoughts with you today, and I wish you all the best in your continued and important work.
Now we have a video messages from the Chief Executive Officer of the Mekong River Commission Secretariat, Dr. Anurag Kittikul.
Colleagues and friends, it is my great pleasure to join you to celebrate World Water Day 2022 and recognize our most precious water resources, which have enormous value to our life and livelihoods. Today, I would like to raise awareness of the global water crisis, especially in the Mekong and other large rivers, as we call for collective action to support the Basin Development Strategy 2021-2030 implementation. Climate change, urbanization, and development activities pose significant challenge to rivers worldwide. The Mekong is no exception, as it is facing multiple threats such as riverbank erosion, declining environmental assets, and low flows. In the Mekong River Commission latest report, it predicts that droughts and floods will only become more frequent and severe in years to come. Despite challenges, there are also opportunities for us to come together, innovate together to address these challenges. While these issues are complex, we can together put in place urgent actions. The MRC vision for the Mekong from a basin-wide perspective is clear. Through the Basin Development Strategy, we will need to collectively implement actions such as be more proactive in regional planning, move towards coordinated operation and management of water infrastructure, and have a robust decision support system in place to better support preparedness and decision-making. If successfully implemented, these will surely improve the state of the basin and address current water challenges. The BDS harmonizes national interests while optimizing regional benefits and promoting shared development responsibility. It calls for all stakeholders to commit to a comprehensive blueprint aimed at contributing to the UN SDGs. The Basin Development Strategy also recognizes the need to build climate resilience under a new reality through socially just economic growth and environmentally responsible development. Overcoming these challenges will be a daunting task. We will need a bold leadership of the highest order, active engagement, and joint efforts from all stakeholders. Together, let's preserve our shared water resources so that they may serve our economies and our needs for years to come. Thank you very much.
We also have a video message from the Deputy Director at Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Dr. Roshan Raj Shrestha.
Dear friends, happy World Water Day. I've been celebrating World Water Day for more than 3 decades. I'm sure many of you might have observed it more than I. With the advancement of science and technology in the past 3 decades, we have also tackled many water-related problems. but the core problem remains unchanged. That is the increasing demand and decreasing freshwater resources. This is all because we are competing with the same source and amount of water available hundreds of millions ago when dinosaurs were roaming around the world. With the growth of population, we need more food and more energy. It requires tremendous amount of fresh water that cannot be managed by doing business as usual. Climate change is another big problem that we are facing. It will impact a lot on water insecurity and water-related disasters. So how to tackle? Yes, there are much more to be done at the global, regional, and national level. At the same time, we all individuals also have a role to play because the root cause is our behavior and our lifestyle. Just take an example. Each individual, you and me, consuming 100 to 300 liters of water per day, depends upon the lifestyle. Out of that, 80% of the consuming water is converted to wastewater, and again, polluting millions of water every day. So how to tackle this problem? This is related to behavior change, but also is linked to the technology gap and lack of strong policy and regulatory mechanism, especially in developing countries. Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation's Water Sanitation and Hygiene team is deeply engaged in developing a new sanitation technology. We call it Reinvented Toilet, where Professor Thammarat and his team at AIT is also part of this program. Let's hope these technologies are in place or in the market soon. That saves water, kill pathogens, and control pollution. And these products also will be a climate resilient sanitation product. We also know that the technology are not a solution. We need to develop an ecosystem to bring innovative technology in the ground. The ecosystem includes institutional reforms, implement the regulations so that proper standards will be in place, so that innovative technology will have opportunity to introduce in the ground. We need a strong partnership, collaboration, and engagement with government, development partners, scientists, and researchers. Collaboration with the public sector is most important to scale the impact, as policy, regulation, and institutional reform are the key for the success. We succeed in working with AIT to develop innovative sanitation technology. Now it is time to work to create an enabling environment for introduction of innovation. Particularly in Asia, we can work together. We look forward to establishing a new partnership with AIT and working with you all to save the most precious gift of the nature, the water. Thank you all.
The next speaker to deliver her message is connected with us now online via Zoom. Dr. Linda, please unmute your microphone and say hi to our audience.
Hi, hello and good afternoon, distinguished colleagues and participants. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Professor Sangam Shrestha at AIT and other organizers, the Stockholm Environment Institute, the Asia Center, SUMERNET and Chulalongkorn University for inviting me to this prestigious event today. I do have a very short video message, so I will leave this remark short and simply say Happy World Water Day 2022. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to congratulate AIT, Professor Sangam Shrestha, for arranging today's celebration of World Water Day. APN is honoured to be invited to give some remarks. The most recent IPCC report highlights that climate change is having increasingly adverse impacts on human systems, including on water security and food production, health and well-being, and cities, settlements, and infrastructure. This was underscored by a call to urgent action by global water and climate leaders released earlier this month on the 8th of March. Furthermore, in order to develop sustainable, equitable, and resilient societies in Asia, securing water through effective resources management is not only indispensable, but crucial to meet many of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. This needs to be a top priority for governments, society and communities who can have an inclusive dialogue on socio-ecological thinking and systems that will enhance stakeholder participation and provide inclusive solutions for effective water security for all. The exchange of experiences, knowledge and best practices on water resources and management among multiple stakeholder groups and improving capabilities to understand the diverse dimensions of water security is essential to inform decision-making processes and practices that address unsustainable water practices and limited access to water, not only for the marginalised and vulnerable, but also to meet the growing demand for water. With this, APN places high emphasis on water security and water resources management, and supports a range of water-related research and capacity development activities, especially across South and Southeast Asia, which are two of the most vulnerable regions in Asia in terms of access to affordable and potable water. One important area of focus is groundwater, and that plays a crucial role in sustainable development of Asian cities. The strategic importance of groundwater to supply water to cities is expected to intensify not only under climate change, but as a result of population growth, expanding urbanisation, and rapid economic growth. As highlighted by a project on climate, land use, and groundwater resilience undertaken by Professor Shrestha and his team at AIT and supported by APN, has emphasised the crucial need to assess groundwater resilience, as well as strategic planning and management of water resources in urban areas. Further, a water security assessment framework tool has been developed by Professor 𝐼𝐴 through support from APN. The tool provides the necessary capacity for stakeholders to assess water security at the city scale, and training on the use of this tool has also been extended to different stakeholders. So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank AIT for its extensive work on securing water for cities and for the most vulnerable around Asia. And I'd like to join in this celebration for World Water Day. Have a wonderful day, everyone, and thank you very much.
We now have the Ambassador of Hungary to Thailand to give his message to the audience. We are honored to have his presence here with us today. Please welcome His Excellency, Dr. Sándor Sipos.
President Eden, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Embassy of Hungary in Bangkok, I would like to express my gratitude towards the organizer of today's events, AIT, the Stockholm Environment Institute and SUMERNET, and the Chulalongkorn University. The reason why we are here today, World Water Day, raises awareness to a highly important topic. One of the most famous Hungarian poets, Sándor Petőfi, wrote in the 19th century, "Though ship bob on the surface of flood, and ocean run beneath us, therefore it is the water who rules." In the 21st century, we are facing the challenges resulting from the global warming caused by the human civilization. The climate change affects almost every aspect of our lives, including Earth's water economy, which is becoming more and more fragile day after day. Regarding the water crisis, the three most important challenges facing our age is the wasteful challenges and the water shortage and the water surplus and the water pollution. Our only hope lies, first of all, in recognizing the importance of the problem, then cooperating to reach a solution, and in the end, taking responsibility action together. This kind of events can contribute to a great extent to achieve some tangible result on time. Hungary also recognized the seriousness of the water crisis. Therefore, with the aim of contributing to the elaboration of the water-related sustainable development goals and providing concrete guidance on the most pressing water issues like drinking water, sanitation, wastewater treatment, Hungary hosted the Budapest Water Summit already 3 times since 2013. Last year, we also successfully organized the most prestigious international diplomatic meeting on sustainable development in the Central European region. It's called the Planet Budapest 2021 Sustainability Expo and Summit. Lastly, I would like to emphasize the importance of education, which is, in my view, the key to handle the environment problems in the long run. Therefore, I am more than delighted to see that promising collaboration between the Department of Civil and Infrastructure Engineering of the Asian Institute of Technology and the Faculty of Water Sciences of the Hungarian National University of Public Services has just started to evolve. Thank you for your kind attention, and I wish you a fruitful rest of conference.
Thank you, His Excellency, Dr. Sandor Sitosh. Finally, we have a message from Mr. Saurav Casey, a doctoral student at Water Engineering and Management in AIT.
Good afternoon to all the distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to be the part of World Water Day 2022 event. This year's theme is groundwater, the world's largest and most exploited freshwater resource. Governing and managing this common resource is very complicated and contextual, and this resource is very crucial for global socioeconomic development. However, the domination of several human-induced factors such as climate change, land use change, industrialization, and this increase in demographic change and increased demand has further stressed this resource. So the major part of this resource for good governance and management of the resource is the engagement of all the actors in different stages of groundwater governance and management is a very fundamental component. And this also includes with appropriate legal frameworks, policies, and adequate data and information. So several actors are still being underrepresented, and here I'm talking about one of the most underrepresented actors, which is youths in groundwater. Youths between 20 to 40 represent about 30% of the global population, and we young people are capable of embracing innovation, raising awareness, and bringing transformation to our sustainability. Furthermore, we are all aware that the overexploitation made by our past generation, and we are also concerned about the limited availability of the resource for our future use. So on behalf of all the youth here and worldwide, I would strongly urge to all the policymakers, practitioners, and related stakeholders to engage and invest on youth in all the processes, as we are the next generation of decision makers, implementers, and most importantly, the future users. We appreciate your contribution in past and appeal for making the invisible, that is the use, visible for sustainable groundwater management. I believe that we will be heard. Happy World Water Day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Saurav. Now, before we move on to the next agenda, let me please invite some of our distinguished guests for a group photo. Please join us here on stage, and our volunteers will guide you to your positions. Thank you very much, everyone. To start off with the first launch of this event, may I invite here at the center stage, Dr. Piyatida Ruangrasamy. She is an assistant professor in the Department of Water Resources Engineering in Chulalongkorn University. Dr. Piyatida, please take the pointer on the table and click the green button at my count. Everybody, please join me on the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I would now like to request Dr. Piyatida to please transfer to the podium for your presentation of the THA proceedings.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is my great pleasure to be here to celebrate the World Water Day 2022 at AIT. Since 2015, Thai Hydrologists Association, together with Chulalongkorn University, had initiated the international conference biannually focusing on water resources. This year, THA 2022 International Conference was held during 26 to 28 January 2022 with the theme of moving towards sustainable water and climate change management after COVID-19. We have keynote speeches from World Bank, UNDP, and ONWR. We also have panel discussion sessions for executive on 4 themes: water disaster management and climate change, water management and climate change, sustainable groundwater management towards SDG, water management underwater security towards SDG. And for our technical conference, we received 100 long abstracts and proceedings with 77 papers accepted on 3 themes, including water management and climate change, new technology in water and irrigation, water management towards SDGs. And we have participants from government, academic, environmental and energy industry, and consultants. We would like to thank our co-organizing agency, ONWR, RID, DWR, DGR, 𝐺𝐝 University, AIT, TSRI, and NRCT, and collaborative agencies, supporting agency, and our sponsor. Proceedings of THA 2022 International Conference, executive summary and report from executive panel discussion will be available for download soon from www.aseanacademicnetwork.com. You can find more information on THA website and Facebook page. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Piyatida, for that presentation. Now for the next initiative, I would like to invite Mr. Niall O'Connor on the center stage to officially launch the SEI publications. Mr. Niall, please take the pointer and click on the button on my count. Everyone, please join me once again for the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you, Mr. Niall. You may now return to your seat. I'm now requesting Dr. Tanapon Timan to give us an introduction of the first publication, which is entitled Chinduin Futures. Dr. Tanapon is a senior research fellow at Stockholm Environment Institute Asia Center.
Hello, everyone, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, on-site and online. So today I'm very proud to be here to celebrate Happy World Water Day in 2022 with AIT and Chulalongkorn University. I am an alumni of both since I did master degree in Chulalongkorn University and my doctoral degree in AIT in the field of water engineering and management. I think this is an important role for alumni to strengthen collaboration between academia and research. In this case, between SCI, ANT, and Chulalongkorn University. On these occasions of World Water Day, I am pleased to share SCI latest research publication on Myanmar called Chinwin Future, as you can see in the slide. Where is Chinwin? Chinwin is a river in the northwest region of Myanmar. It is the biggest tributary of the Irrawaddy River in Myanmar. The Chinwin is also Transparent River that share its between Myanmar and India. So as you can see in the map on the right-hand side. So next slide, please. Chinwin River play crucial roles in navigation and providing water for agriculture, irrigation, livestock, fishery, and domestic use for people. The basin is also important for biodiversity and diversity. It's hosting 11 key biodiversity hotspots, meaning habitats of rare and endangered species of plant and animal. However, the basin-wide development, including urbanization, agriculture, mining, and logging, had led to environmental impact such as deforestation, poor water quality, ecosystem degradation, habitat loss. This had affected marginalized groups and livelihood of local communities across the basin. These changes together are affecting sustainable development of the Chinwin Basin. This is where the story of this book begins. SCI started a research project in Chinwin since 2013, almost 10 years from now, when Myanmar had begun slowly opening up to the world. At that time, there is very limited data, information, research, and knowledge to understand the state of the basin and the key interactions among multi-water related activity in the basin for integrated water resource management and sustainable development. Between 2013 to 2020, SCI and partners joined hands with several experts in Myanmar, such as Myanmar Environment Institute and international experts from other organizations worldwide to implement 3 research projects, including Irrawaddy Futures, Chinwin Future, and Chinwin Biodiversity and Ecosystem Service. So this project aims to build scientific information, to fill knowledge gaps, to raise public awareness, and to finalize support policy and decision makers for better planning and sustainable development. This output and outcome and lesson learned and stakeholder engagement activities from these projects form the information in these Chinwin books. Next slide, please. Thank you. So this is the first book about the Chinwin to provide an overview and socio-ecological understanding of the state of the Chinwin River Basin in Myanmar. The chapters provide detailed scientific assessment of the nature, socio-economic, and institutional features of the Chinwin River Basin, ranking from climate change, hydrology, geography, and economy to biodiversity, water use, local livelihoods, as well as multi-stakeholder dialogue and institutions. The biggest story highlighted by the book is the establishment of Myanmar's very first River Basin Organization, in short called RBO, for the Chinwin River Basin. In establishing the RBO, SCI have worked very hard and very closely with the local governments, Sky Regional Government, as well as a rank of groups. The RBO aims to be a mechanism for collaborating for sustainable water resource management through using multi-stakeholder engagement. I believe that this book will be valuable to academics, researchers working on natural resource and water governance issue in Myanmar. Moreover, this book will also be useful for state agencies, development professionals, and environmental organizations in Myanmar, and also more widely, the Mekong region involved in planning and policy making on natural resource management. Pleasantly, from last 10 years, there are many peer-reviewed journal papers in the Chinwin have been published along with our research project. So this is another evidence of the success in bridging policy and science. Finally, I would like to thank our partners and colleagues who contribute to this book, as well as the donor of the research project that we work in the Chinwin Basin, including Blue Moon Fund, SIDA Critical Ecosystem Partnership Fund, and Sustainable Mekong Research Network. Thank you very much and happy World Water Day.
Again, thank you, Mr. Nile and Dr. Tanapon. The next publication will be discussed by Ms. Tipakson Manpati, our SUMERNET media partner. May I call on Ms. Tipakson, who is now attending online, to officially launch the publication entitled The Importance of Mekong River.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks to all organizers for organizing this event. I'm honored for the opportunity to highlight this important day for the water with key messages on behalf of media partnership with SUMERNET. I would like to highlight the Mekong River and the importance of media reporting, as the river, the Mekong, is one of the world's most important transboundary water resources that more than 60 million of people in this region rely on for their livelihoods. The Mekong River had changed dramatically due to the impacts of the hydropower development and water-related projects, together with the effects of the climate change. Dam monitoring data has shown that the depletion of the Mekong water flow in the wet season and unpredictable water fluctuation all year round are caused by the operation of upstream dams storing water in the reservoirs. Transboundary water management must consider the impacts of the dams, the planned and ongoing water projects, and their combined impact on the Mekong ecology and local livelihoods. On this aspect, I have 4 key messages. First, media reporting on the Mekong that is continuous and evidence-based is important, because media can continue to cover and repeat about environmental impacts and how it's important to include local participation and shared concern of the people in this region. This participation is needed more than ever before to ensure water accessibility, water sharing, and security for communities and animals that depend on this common resource across national borders. Second, the Mekong River is a shared river that not only provides the water, which is essential for life, but also an ecological web upon which more than 60 million of people depend upon. Stories about the Mekong and its ecosystems helps amplify the voices of riverine communities to further push for policy change in regional water governance. Could you please go to the next photo? Third, media plays a significant role in empowering local communities through engaging with them to convey messages given their first-hand experience about their livelihoods, especially in dealing with the change in the river. This way, it brings in wider public attention and can support the communities in various ways. For example, we can support through participatory research with community members as undertaken by SUMERNET researchers. Lastly, media reporting on the Mekong can leverage decision-making processes at national and regional levels to redefine development related to water and water insecurity. The Mekong is not just water itself, it is livelihoods, beliefs, cultures, and precious heritage that needs collaborative protection for sustainability, equity, and social justice in order to pass on to the next generations. Thank you very much.
Now we have an exciting launch of 4 initiatives by AIT. First, I would like to invite once again the AIT President, Dr. Eden Woon, to please stay at the center stage. Now, Mr. President, I would like to request you to please take the pointer and click on the button at my count. Everyone, please join me once again for the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you, Mr. President. Please remain there for the launch of the remaining initiatives. Now, I would like to invite Professor Mukand Babel on stage to give a short introduction about the Center for Water and Climate Adaptation. Prof. Babel is a professor of water engineering and management in AIT. He is also leading the Climate Change Asia initiative to drive capacity for action to address climate change issues in the region. Please welcome Professor Babel.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon. His Excellencies, the Ambassador of Hungary to Thailand, and my other guests today. It's my pleasure to be here today to give very brief about this center which we have just launched today. Let me start with after hearing about almost 2 hours or so from various speeches, I take 3 keywords out of it. Number 1, water crisis. Number 2, climate crisis. And number 3, action. So let me start with giving a kind of a brief background at why we started with this center for water and climate adaptation. Water crisis, climate crisis, I don't need to explain it, but UN Sustainable Development Agenda, out of 17, there are 2 dedicated Sustainable Development Goals. Goal number 6, SDG 6, SDG 13. 6 is on clean water and sanitation, and SDG 13 on climate action. As we have noticed also that various governments across the globe, multilateral development agencies, organizations have initiated dedicated projects and programs for alleviating the water and climate crisis. COP26, just a couple of months ago, defined well-established need of adaptation. And adaptation is more of a necessity than a choice for climate resilient development. Considering this experience, as our president also mentioned, that AIT has been in the water business for 60 years. And our experiences, AIT is in right position to contribute to this development narrative through research, capacity building, and consulting. Hence, this Center for Water and Climate Adaptation, CWCA. CWCA has got a very clear vision to serve as a catalyst in helping Asia Pacific region and beyond help countries move up the water security ladder by leveraging on the strength and expertise of AIT and its partners. The mission of the center is revolving around research, capacity development, and outreach activities. Apart from this, very important is looking into innovative, forward-looking technology and management solutions to these problems. And last but not the least, the collaboration and partnership, which have been again emphasized by several of my previous speakers. In addition to these three core functions of the center, which is research, capacity development, and consultancy, CWCA would also involve in outreach activities. And just to mention one of them, very important one, is that the event in November this year on Water Security and Climate Change Conference, with the theme, looking at today's theme, the theme of that conference would be Adaptation for Sustainable and Resilient Development. CWCA would focus on five core themes basically, looking into improving water resource and supply management, enhancing water productivity, conserving and protecting the water-dependent ecosystems, mitigating the water-related disasters, and improving water governance. Five important aspects of improving water resource management. CWCA will closely work and engage with several international and regional organizations, which is very clearly reflective of today's event, where several of our partners and collaborators are present today, either offline or online. There are some of the very flagship programs and initiatives which have been already taken under this center. And I just mentioned two of them is Global Water and Climate Adaptation Center, which we fondly call ABCD Center Project, supported by German government, will run for 5 years plus 5 years until 2030. And another initiative on capacity building on Adaptation Academy of UNFCCC. It is support from Ministry of Environment, the Republic of Korea. These are some of the initiatives that have already been taken. With that, I would like to look forward, next slide please, to the working with others all present here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Babel. You may now return to your seat. I'm requesting again, Mr. President, to please follow the same procedure for the second initiative reveal. Everyone, please join me again for the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You may return to your seat again, Mr. President. To give us a short description of the special journal issue, Climate Change, Water Resources, and Ecosystems, I'm requesting Professor Sangam Shrestha on stage. Professor Sangam is a professor of water engineering and management and is the head of the Department of Civil and Infrastructure Engineering in AIT. He is also the driver of the initiatives that we are about to launch today. Please welcome Professor Sangam.
Yeah, thank you, Kim. Good afternoon to everyone. His Excellency Dr. Sandor Saipos, AIT President 𝐸𝐸, Dr. Nail from Asia Center, Achan Piatita from Chulalongkorn University. Good afternoon to everyone, online and on-site participants. Happy World Water Day. I'm very happy to launch this journal special issue called Climate Change, Water Resources and Ecosystems, Challenges and Opportunities. Actually, this is the out of very excellent collaboration among AIT, Beijing Normal University, Beijing University of Technology, and Hefei University of Technology in China. And it took almost 1 year to get this publication in journal called Environmental Research, published by Elsevier, and it is ranked as number 16th out of 203 journals in the category of public, environmental, and occupational health. And this special issue consists of 30 original articles contributed by the researcher around the globe. And the main aim of these articles are to increase the understanding and providing the solutions towards climate change impact on water resources and ecosystems. I take this opportunity to thank all the guest editors you can see in the slide here. And also I thank all the contributors to make this journal special issue successful. Thank you very much, and again, happy World Water Day to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Sangam. Mr. President, again, please click it on my cue. And everybody, please join me again for the next initiative countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you again, Dr. Eden. To introduce us to the 𝐸𝐵 project, I would like to request for the presence of Dr. Ho Hu Loc, who is currently in Vietnam and is presenting to us online via Zoom. Dr. Loc is an assistant professor in the Water Engineering and Management in AIT. Please welcome Dr. Loc.
Yes, thank you, Kim, and happy World Water Day to all the distinguished guests from AIT, Stockholm Environment Institute, Chulalongkorn University, and Department of Groundwater of Thailand. I feel very proud and honored today to be the Kickstarter of one of the initiatives for this World Water Day. So representing is Project 𝐸𝐵. For short, the full name of the project is Ecosystem-Based Adaptations for Sustainable Groundwater Resources Management in the Trans-Boundary Cambodia-Vietnam Mekong Delta Aquifer of the Lower Mekong region, 𝐸𝐵. So before we move to the next slide, I feel that the GIF over here lies very well of the theme, groundwater, making the invisible visible. Next slide, please, Kim. Thank you. So via the indispensable support from valuable sponsors and partners, our Asian Institute of Technology has been able to contribute to strengthening the groundwater management and governance for Southeast Asia countries. Of noteworthy of these efforts include 2 projects, strengthening groundwater governance in rapidly urbanizing areas of the Lower Mekong region, JIRA for short, and second, assessment of groundwater sustainability in the special economic zone of Thailand for operational groundwater management, or CHISA. So contributing to these efforts, we have introduced herewith a project entitled 𝐸𝐵. And recently, this project has been approved for funding by the Stockholm Environment Institute via the SUMERNET Rapid Response Research Support under the theme of Trans-Boundary Interactions with Water Systems. For me, this is very remarkable continuity when all the 3 Gs project has been generously supported by SEI. Project 𝐸𝐵, as shown in this slide, will investigate opportunities to mainstream ecosystem-based adaptations, or EBA, to address water security or the lack thereof related to the groundwater government resources of the Trans-Boundary Cambodia-Vietnam Mekong Delta Aquifer in the Lower Mekong region. The three main outcomes will be subsequently delivered via JBA, including creation of new knowledge, strengthening of stakeholders' capacities, and lastly, mainstreaming of policy relevant scientific information. With the support of 4 valued partners, including Institute of Technology of Cambodia, 𝐾𝐚𝐲 University of Vietnam, Center for Creative Initiative in Health and Population, Next Blue Consultants from the Netherlands, the project team create the transformative changes in planning and decision-making process in the management of the trans-boundary aquifer, one of the most important trans-boundary aquifer in Asia and the world worldwide. With this, I would like to say thank you all the delegates for joining of kickstarting this event. And finally, happy World Water Day to everyone who's joining online and on-site. Thank you, Kim.
Thank you, Dr. Locke. Now for the 4th and final initiative. Again, Mr. President, kindly take the pointer. This is now the final countdown, so everyone please join me again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you, Mr. President. To give us an overview of the Climate Smart Wash Technology Catalog, I'm inviting Professor Tamarat Kutatet here on stage. Professor Tamarat is a professor at Environmental Engineering and Management in AIT. Please welcome Professor Tamarat.
Thank you very much. Very good afternoon, Your Excellency, Mr. President. So may I please give a brief of this so-called Climate Smart Wash Technology Catalog with the modeling. So the wash is not the washing machine. Unfortunately, it is the water, sanitation, and hygiene, the products, the technologies that we would like to work that should have a kind of the climate resilience and climate adaptations to the society as well. So can you move to the next slide, please? So we have been working with the UNICEF for quite some time, and then we realized that the climate also very much impacts to the wash system, in particular to the water, the sanitation, or even the hygiene issues, in particular to the certain extreme circumstance like the high flood or the drought. How can we manage the system that having the less and less water, whereas you still have the COVID-19 to wash your hands, for example. In addition to that, the toilets, the sanitation system, if we are in the flood, if we are in the drought situations, what to do with that? So at least the very first initiative that AIT and UNICEF would like to do is that to list down all kind of those products that are available in the markets, not only in Thailand, but in the region, that can say that, well, whether these products can contribute or can reduce the greenhouse gas emission as well, or adapt to such a serious climate issues or not. Next slide, please. Yes. So that soon we will giving you more online and in print the catalogs that you can access to these with simple access to the system, that how can you get into the water system, the sanitation system, or even the hand washing system that may or may not contribute to the greenhouse gas emission or can resist to such climate risk or not. Thank you very much. So that I would like to thank your kind attention.
Thank you, Professor Tamarat. Now I think most of the audience is waiting for this part of the event, which is the announcement of the World Water Day 2022 photo competition. We have selected 3 winning photos, which best reflects the theme, Groundwater, Making the Invisible Visible. For this year, there is a slight improvement from last year's. The winners will have a chance to tell the story behind each photo. I would now like to invite again Professor Sangam on stage for the announcement of winners and President Eden Woon for the handing out of prizes. Please come here. Handing over to you again, Professor.
Okay, so I think this is the most exciting session. announcement of the winners of photography competition. The theme of this photography competition is the same as World Water Day, groundwater making the invisible visible. So we have announced this photography competition last month, 25th of February, and the deadline was 15th March. And actually we received 19 eligible photos. And these photos were evaluated by 3 institutes, AIT, SEI, and Chulalongkorn University. So to evaluate the photos, there are 5 criteria and the respective weightage to each criteria. One of the criteria was relevance to theme, 50% of the weightage, the photo caption provided by the photographer, photo story, 20%, and photo quality, 20%. So, so I would like to announce the second runner-up of this photography competition. I think many of you are here. Probably you can guess who could be the second runner-up. Any names? Okay. So the second runner-up is Mr. Anis Ratnasakya. The photo caption is springing from the ground to sustain the above. Mr. Anis, if you are here, you can come on the stage. And the prize is 1,500 Thai baht, printed photo and certificate. And also you have a chance to tell the story of photo, probably within 1 minute.
Good afternoon, everybody. So for this story for the photo, this was taken at SUMERNET, Gorkha, Nepal. So we went for the trekking. So we found this lady collecting water from the natural spring for drinking. I was curious and I asked her if it was safe for drinking or not. She replied that there was no other option, and she had been drinking there since childhood without any health complaints. She also added that it was very refreshing because the source of water is as raw as it can get. Spring water seeping out of the aquifers have been a vital source of water for people living in hilly regions of Nepal. The hilly terrain restricts the distribution of piped drinking water, making these spring waters their only choice to sustain life. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Anis. And the copyright belongs to us as well. So I hope you will not mind if we use this photo for some other occasions. Yeah, thank you, thank you. Okay, the next winner is the first runner-up. So can you guess who is the first runner-up? Okay, so I will announce it here. The first runner-up is Miss Arsa Pradhan, and with the caption Bunge Dhara, an intricately carved traditional stone fountain found in Nepal. So if you are here, you can come on the stage. Okay, I think she is not here. Probably if some friends are here, you can come here and receive the prize. Okay. The prize is 3,000 baht with the printed photo and certificate. So unfortunately, the winner is not here. So probably, yes, she's online. Okay. So yeah, Miss Arsa, you have 1 minute to tell about the story of your photo, please.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So the story behind this is first I'd like to give a background about this photo. So this is called a Dungegari, which is a traditional ancient water where continuous water flows in this from the stone water. So during that dry season, for example, right now in Nepal, sanitation has increased so much. Many households lack drinking water or water to even for the household. These Dungedara, these ancient Dungedara, to use as a means for water supply for the household works. Especially during the weekends, we can see lots of people there, like taking it fits right to the theme of this contest, like making the invisible visible. So that's the story behind it. So when I was there to take a picture, so
Yeah, thank you, Arsa. Thank you very much.
was there to fill a jar. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Congratulations once again. And finally, the winner of this photography competition is, any guess from the students? Okay, the winner is Miss Ranju Bhatta with the caption Nalka, the unspoken water marvel. So if you are here, you can come to the stage. The first prize is 5,000 watt cash, printed photo and certificate. Congratulations, Ranju. Yeah, you have 1 minute to tell the story about this photo.
Good afternoon, everyone. Mr. President, distinguished guests, professors, and everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Happy World Water Day. This picture, it represents groundwater through a hand pump. Hand pump is also known as Nalka in the local language of far western region of Nepal. It is used in most of the households in the Tarai region of Nepal due to abundance in groundwater availability in that region. It is the primary source of drinking water as well as irrigation for the people living there. Even though it plays such a crucial role in impacting the life of people living in that region, it is often taken for granted. Also, the effects of climate change can be seen through altered recharge rates of groundwater. Therefore, there is a need to properly monitor and manage the hidden treasure that is groundwater in order to achieve a sustainable development. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ranju. And again, congratulations to everyone. Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, Mr. President, please remain on stage for the next part of the event. So before we end this day, we would like to offer our token of appreciation to our distinguished guests for joining us in the celebration of the World Water Day 2022. I would also like to invite His Excellency Dr. Sandor Shiposh, Mr. Niall O'Connor, and Dr. Piatida Ruangrasamy to join us here on stage. Thank you very much, Mr. President, and to all of our guests. I'm requesting again Dr. Piatida to please go here up on stage for the closing remarks of today's event.
Thank you very much, Kim. Greetings to all. It is delightful to be part of the World Water Day 2022 event. This year's theme is Groundwater, Making the Invisible Visible. Thank you very much to the Asian Institute of Technology, Stockholm Environmental Institute, Asia Center, Sustainable Mekong Research Network SUMERNET Program, Chulalongkorn University, and Department of Groundwater Resources under the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment Thailand for jointly hosting this remarkable event, highlighting work and partnerships in the region. We appreciate receiving the keynote speeches from Dr. 𝐸𝐸 𝐸𝐸 from DGR Thailand on sustainable management of groundwater resources in Thailand, and from Dr. Nino Kukuri from 𝐸𝐸 on groundwater, making the invisible visible. The keynote speeches highlighted the significance of the groundwater resources and the urgency for call to action in the context of climate change and human impact on the resource. Furthermore, the keynote highlighted the importance of cooperation among national and international stakeholders, sharing knowledge and information to increase visibility and sustainability management of the resource. Thank you to both distinguished speakers for the fruitful remarks. I want to continue to provide a vote of thanks to Dr. Eden Woon, President of AIT, Dr. 𝐸𝐸 𝐸𝐸, Deputy Director General, Department of Groundwater Resources Thailand, Mr. Niall O'Connor, Director, Stockholm Environment Institute, Asia Center, for the opening remarks. I am also glad to thank Professor Deirdre Trout, Dean, School of Engineering and Technology, AIT, for his welcome remarks. I would also like to thank His Excellency, Dr. Sándor Sipos, Ambassador of Hungary to Thailand, Dr. Aranut Lapensi, Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment Thailand, Dr. Suthat Wiskun, Hydroinformatics Institute Thailand, Ms. Anna Maria Otorp, Embassy of Sweden Thailand, Dr. Anurag Kitikun, Mekong River Commission Secretariat, Dr. Rashan Rajreta, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Dr. Linda Ann Stevenson, Asia Pacific Network for Global Chain Research, APN, and Mr. Surat Casey from AIT for delivering wonderful World Water Day messages. We witnessed the launching of several initiatives from AIT, Chulalongkorn University, and SEI and SUMERNET, and the World Water Day 2022 photo competition winners. Congratulations to all. Special thanks to Professor Sangam Shrestha, Department Head Civil and Infrastructure Engineering, AIT, Dr. Thanapol Piman, Senior Research Fellow, Stockholm Environment Institute, Asia Center, and our team from Chulalongkorn University for initiating and coordinating this wonderful event. Last but not the least, special thanks to all the staff and students in the organizing team for the hard work to make this event successful. We wish to continue this event in the following year. Thank you all for staying with us. With this, I announce the closing for this event and wish to see all of you again on World Water Day 2023. Till then, let's contribute from each of us in making the invisible visible. Thank you very much and happy World Water Day 2022. สวัสดีค่ะ
Thank you, Dr. Piatida. And this officially closes the World Water Day 2022 celebration. Please don't forget to pick up your takeaway snacks and drinks in the lobby outside of this auditorium. We would like to thank all for joining us today and wish everybody a safe journey home. Looking forward to meeting you again for the World Water Day celebration next year, and hopefully we will meet you all on site. Thank you.